morning, everyone. Steelhorse here. Welcome back to Silverrun Forest Farm. It's just dawned in November, and Jake has the seeder on the back. He's got a bit of a plan, busy day planned. He's been watching the pricing, and you might recall in the last episode we sold some silage, and that's proving quite lucrative. Now the meadow beside the riding school needs cutting again, and we finished taking the corn off this field, and what Jake's thinking he will do is put grass on here as a cover crop so that we can get a cut of grass off it before we harvest, before we plant next year's spring crop. So the plan is to take the opportunity, because we're in November, to drop some grass in with the direct drill, and then we'll mulch it after we've cut it and before we plant the next crop. So that is the plan. So let's try getting right on the field. Might work better for us. Field position is here. That's the one we want. Now let's try. And off you go. So that'll take care of itself through the course of the day. We are going to need some more seed. So let's just duck back to the riding school. So Jake has a plan for seed. We've got plenty of barley in the silo, and the idea is we'll take advantage of the rising silage prices. So they're up within a few dollars of their maximum. But we'll run down and make a sale. And that way we'll have enough money to buy a plant that he's been reading about in a number of different magazines that he wants to give a go to. What's happening here? There we go. It's a little containerized seed processor. So the idea is you put some crop in and seed pops out, but we need a few funds to do that. So that will be the first order of business, is just to get that sorted, so that I presume it will take some time, so that the seed planting can continue in parallel with our harvesting of the sugar beet. In terms of the sugar beet, the current plan is to drop it on the floor of the new shed while he thinks about what to do with it. There is the opportunity, obviously, to sell it, but the main sell point for regular sugar beet is the Silverrun market. However, Buff has been you might remember Buff was the guy that helped him or advised him with the little firewood business. Another one of Buff's schemes, which he wasn't so keen to get involved with and was a little more expensive, was he was trying to convince the sawmill to lease him some land and put a BGA in. Well, it seems he's had a little bit of success with the modern sawmill. So he has there is a facility coming up there, and Jake's under the impression that will ultimately take silage and or sugar beet and potentially be somewhere where he could sell the manure from the cows. So it's a good thing that it's arriving, but he's not necessarily sure how it's going to work out. So what it does do is provide the potential for another source sale point for sugar beets. So we'll keep an eye on how that comes about. But for the moment, we'll just head down to the Silverrun market and sell this load of silage. You can see it, the stacks on the fermenting silo that they've been constructing over there over the last month or so. So that should be all in full swing later on. But for now, it's just going to provide an alternative sell point, I think. From what Buff was saying, if Jake wants to buy in at some point, that's going to be a six-figure investment. So, not really sure that that's Jake's cup of tea. Might just sit back and watch that one unfold for a little bit. And meanwhile, it never hurts to have someone else in town that's offering to buy your produce. So it's all good, and hence part of the reason why Jake thinks there's no downside to planting grass in the cornfields and potentially making a little more silage, given that it's just between seasons for us. So we'll sell this silage here. 7,000 we've got. How much do we pick up? Yeah, no, it's really helpful. So there's 28,600 for the bales themselves, and almost 3,000 as the environmental bonus. So that brings us up to 38. So that should be enough to get this little seed factory in, which we'll go back and deal with. And then we can get on with our sugar beet harvest. Sun's come up properly now, so it's looking like a bit crisp, but it's not a bad November day. You can see after we get the grass planted, which is the priority, there's an opportunity to cut this meadow again before Christmas, so we'll take care of that as well. So what Jake's thinking is that the right spot for this, it's only small, so it won't produce a huge amount of seed, but it will be enough to, or it should be enough, he hopes. There were kind of two options. One here, which is the one he's leaning towards at 25,000, and that would just pop in there. As you can see, it's a pretty self-contained little facility. The other one was over here, I think, maybe under tools. There it is. But that was quite a bit bigger and quite a bit more expensive. And the way he kind of looked at it is you got to make quite a lot of seed to get your money back on 67,000, almost three times as much. So he's kind of keen on the smaller option. So that's going to be the way we go. It looks like it loads at one end and pops out at the other, so we might just put it down like so, just on the side there out of the way. Let's have a look here. There's a little hopper there to tip seed in. We've got some barley here in the silo. So we should be able to put some barley in here with any luck. There we go. Easy as you like. And the idea is, I think we just tip it in the drawer. And then if we duck into our production management menu, there we go. We have in fact, we don't even need to transfer it across. It's close enough that it actually takes the silo as an extension. So it'll make seed for us out of barley. It's a little on the expensive side to operate, but it's fairly fast. So the key thing here is we don't want to leave him operating for too long. And if we grab the ute, we should be able to get our little box trailer there and take some seed over to the planter when it needs it. At least that's the plan. Hopefully you'll pop under there just. You're just going to be awkward, are you? The extension on the trailer not quite fit. I know. Just managed to get into there. 250 litres, so we'll leave you. Park you out of the way. Actually, what we need to do with you is grab Parker, because we can run down the hill. We'll need all our trailers for the minute for the sugar beet, I suspect. That'll be the easiest way to get it off. And we'll head down to where we were harvesting. Doesn't take those weeds long to pop up in that area that we harvested, just the stripe we harvested last time. So we've got a little bit more to take off there, and the second, or the return pass on that strip, which we'll take care of now. And then the field over near where we're planting the grass, the cornfield, also has ripened, so that one's ready to go. So that little bit of fiddly tidying up here with the harvester. We might leave this trailer up here. pretty much finished. Just got a little bit of tidying up down in this section. We'll finish that bit and turn around, I think. So, you're on. Fold you up. Lower you down. And turn on the front section. It's a bit dark here on the back side of this hill while waiting for the sun to come up. But we've only got a little bit of this to do before we should get back in the sunshine. Just one little stripe along there that we missed on the first pass. There we go. Just the edge. Try not to get caught on the tree. Always a good thing. And there'll be a spot just up here where we can turn around. Hopefully without, there's a little bit of a ford there over to the paper factory. We should manage this without dropping everything in the river. The target here, you might remember from last time, is to make sure we get up over the 20,000 litres of silver beet, because then that sort of turns our, well, that covers our costs of putting it in the ground and the seed in the ground and getting it out again. So we haven't invested a large amount of land in this crop. Oops, hooked on tree. Out of there. That's better. So it's not too taxing a requirement. Goodness me, not seeing some of these in the shadows very well. Now we'll find out just whether we've got enough horsepower to pull and harvest up the hill. It's looking pretty promising. We're probably right on about the minimum power, but I'm quite happy with that. There's one more stripe that might be just a little bit our accidental planting just in behind the trees there, which we might just leave. Maybe we can take a shortcut around this tree and just pick up this end of it. Nope. Too many branches. Let's get out from under there. We've got more trees to pull out before we expand this section of slope, so we were always curious. But it looks like we can comfortably harvest across the slope, and Jake was worried originally about the rollover risk, but this harvest is more stable than he expected, and as you can see, is capable, at least on this slope here, of turning up the hill. So that's working quite well. So we'll get this bit. Uphill's not fast. The downhill, managing it to be a down or a cross activity is clearly the way we want to be going. So as we clear this out for next season, we'll keep that in mind, give ourselves a little bit more room to work. As it turned out, we didn't need to bring that trailer all the way down to the bottom. You might remember the yield on this section is fairly low. We haven't sampled all the soil, we didn't fertilize it fully, so we would expect that our yield when we get back up to the little field we've put over near the water should be quite a bit higher. Even in fact, the few rows that we've planted at the other end of this strip will probably be better because our fertilization kicks in somewhere around here, I think. Now, from what Jake understands, that biogas facility that Buff and his mates have put in at the new sawmill actually processes cut sugar beet. So I have to investigate how to cut. And obviously, we're pulling them up whole. What Jake understands, there's an attachment you can put on your front end loader that can solve for that. So when we get round there, we will. So one thing I think we can say with confidence is we're going to make our comfortably over our 20,000 litre target, and we can also be pretty confident that our experiment working across these slopes has worked out. So because we're up to 3,000 here, we've got 6,000 in the trailer, so we're going to get pretty close to 12,000 off this section. I think it's easy that we'll pull in the same amount in the other field, so that's looking promising. Make quite a pile on the floor of our shed, though, I expect, so hopefully that won't be with us too long. It looks like the local prices for sugar beet peak in the next couple of months, so with any luck we should be able to turn it around pretty quickly. In fact, we're going to need to get the trailer before we get to the end of this section by the looks. Nice problem to have. Just a bit to get that little section over there. A bit bit of creative weaving through the trees. Should really have cleared that end. Got a little bit busy and distracted towards the end of the year, so didn't quite get all the prep. Got one end done. Missed that rock there. Guide wheels bumped us up and over. Turned fairly tightly on. It's more manoeuvrable than you would have thought, which is good. Let's put our conveyor out because we're going to have to go get the truck. A bit of a haul up here with 6,000 litres of sugar beet in the back. We've got time, we could even grass that field there, although it's not a bad thing just to leave it with the mulch cover on it through the winter. Might check in on our seeder while we're, or our seeding. So our seed production's going okay. In fact, we've certainly got enough produced. We'll let it go to the maximum, so it's taken us an hour or two to get to that point. So we don't want to leave it at the price it is to run. We don't want to leave it running too much longer. So we'll just let it fill up the 5,000 hopper. And turn you on again. Just get this last little bit. And then we can head over to the other field. And before too much further in the afternoon, we will have all our crop in for the season. Just need to lift that front. And down again. There we go. There's only a couple of 100 litres in the hopper, but no point carting them down to the other fields. So we might as well drop them off because the truck can empty into the shed on the way past. Easy as you like. And we do need seeds down the bottom. Let's take care of the truck first. So 12,000 litres off our forestry experiment, and as I was suggesting, we should get it easily that off the other field. Let's just back you in here. we can pop them just in a pile that shouldn't be too much in our way at the other end of the shed there. Somewhere round about there ought to do. That shouldn't make too big a pile, that'll be good. Let's see how much seed we have here. 3,000 litres. I think that will be plenty for now, so we might deactivate you and just fill you up. Let's go over and fix that. The other equipment can follow us over. With any luck, we should be able to shovel it straight out of the back of the pickup here. Find out in a minute. No, it's not going to let us. So what we're going to need is a front loader to fill up our seed, which is a little annoying, but not entirely unexpected. We just need an auger wagon in the future. There we go, we get it in the right spot and it works a treat. That should be enough. While we're here, we will grab the bale. There we go. A little bit more awkward and cumbersome, but we got the job done. So we can put you back. This will be enough to finish the seeding, I'm quite confident. And this will enable us to pick the bale up. If we're lucky. There we go. That's the one we wanted. Pop you in the back of the ute. Excellent. Bit fiddly, but job done. You can go back to your nearest waypoint and continue planting your grass seed. We'll get the vehicles out of your way. And now we've emerged from the forest onto a proper field. Albeit a little one. And we can put our harvester down. Top it down. Turn it all on. And off we trot. We'll need to do a couple of headlands here. We could put it on horseplay, but maybe the practice is good for Jake. He's feeling pretty pleased with himself, I think. Experiments worked. When you look at the overall, you know, it's the culmination of the year's activities. Things have gone pretty well. Financially, they're in fair shape. They managed to buy some more land, which will provide work and income through the winter. I've kind of got this silage thing working out a bit for them. It's a combination either of silage or the occasional tree container. Keeps everything pretty healthy financially. There's not a lot of borrowed equipment on the farm, so they've managed to pick up some good bargains in the second-hand market. They were lucky, of course, with Paige's grandfather doing up that Gleaner for them. That was a big win. And that little grass area, so you can see the BGA equipment that's been put in at the sawmill. But the grass area just this side of it, we could certainly be turning into a field. And that's probably the next. Oops, looks like I missed a little bit. Or is that grass on the corner? It might be grass on the corner, is it? Yes, it is. So yeah, if we could turn that into a field, we're going to find $60,000 or $70,000 to be able to grab that one, and obviously no clearing required. So it's quite conceivable we'd be able to add a substantial amount to our crop capacity before the spring is done. We've just got to keep our nose down. We've got some crops to sell, so that will bring in cash also. So things are in a pretty darn good place. Looking here at 4,000 litres, we'll probably get pretty close to a full trailer load off here, which will mean we're up around the 30,000 litres of sugar beet, so that works. Not going to make us rich, but should pay for, well, it'll cover our costs. Doesn't take long to empty the hopper. And there's our cedar, so that grass is on the headlands. So that one's going to finish quite nicely. And then the next job we need to look at is fertilizing. We might be able to get that done for the barley before we go into the winter, which is probably a good thing. So that it's all set and ready to go when the weather warms. Sort of soak in with the winter moisture. I'm pretty comfortable that all that's left in the field is profit now, which is great. Take all of this hopper, I doubt. We'll have to go and empty the truck. So it turned out we didn't need the Parker gravity wagon. It was just as easy to do it. Oh, we'll take it all. That's a pleasant surprise. We will need to empty the truck, of course, but it can wait until we've got the crop off the field, hopefully. So we're just finishing the last little triangle here. We'll get it all in the hopper. And we can run the truck up, dump that on the floor, and empty this last bit out. The grass seeding has finished, so it'll come up nicely. Just the last little bits. I don't see too many more little bulges of beet in the field. Just a couple that I've not taken the heads off. Pick those up. And there we go. A good job done. Let's run this truck up, empty it out, duck down and grab the last bit, and then we can return the harvester, and apart from cleanup, that'll be the day's work done. Just put this last 4,500 in the trailer. Looks like the tractor could do with the wash. We'll send the harvester back. They can take care of its maintenance and tidiness, because we're done with that one for this year. It's worked really well. Very happy with that. And so if we go here, beat technology, we can return you. Then return you. The bale loader we'll probably need again next time. And hopefully one will come up in the sales before Christmas. What have we got there? Jake is looking at a timber trailer, but he's thinking more of a pole trailer. Just a little bit easier to handle and easier to store. And this mightn't be a bad idea either. Might have to see if that's still in consideration next time. But for now, that's where we might leave proceedings. It's been a good one. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time. See ya.